Hello everyone and welcome back to Timberborn. This is the third episode of the One Pod Challenge. At the beginning of the fourth wet season, you can see we're actually running a little bit low on beavers. We only have 10 right now. One of them is a baby beaver. This breeding pod is about to spit out another baby. But for now we're going to make do with the workers that we have. We are spread thin a little bit. We have a couple builders, which we might need to end up reducing that. In the last episode we got a few important buildings going. The first one way over here, we have a scavenger flag. So he is collecting the scrap metal from over there and tirelessly bringing it all over to this area. And then we also have a smelter set up, which is producing metal blocks. We currently have 8. And then we also have a hauling post, and he is assisting the scavenger to bring the scrap metal over to the main area. And in today's episode, we are hoping to unlock the bot part factory. This will allow us to start creating the parts for the bots, and then the next step will be getting the bot assembler up and running. We'll start out by making just one of these, and then we'll get one of these set up later. It takes a decent amount of science and resources to construct both of these, so we're going to focus on obviously the bot part factory first. And the bad water is just now starting to flow. Looks like we are doing decent on planks and gears. We do want to get this smelter up and running, which means we have to pause a job. I think for now we'll reduce the amount of workers we have in the farmhouse since we are doing pretty good on food overall. We are also running a little bit low on wood. We do have one of the lumberjack flags right here. Once we have the beaver working in the forester, plant these trees, then we'll pause him, and then we can turn this on temporarily since we have a lot of trees that are ready to be chopped down. And they just finished building these 3 water wheels. I realized I should have just made this into a levee because that's what I'm going to be placing here down the road. But for now we'll get another water wheel set up. We do also want to get the water pump back up and running. We have about half of the water that we could possibly hold. And we're going to be having typically between 1 and 2 vacant jobs. Those 2 will be these inventors huts. I always want to have a couple buffer jobs available, that way we don't have any beavers sitting around. And it looks like these trees are planted. We'll go ahead and pause the forester and get this lumberjack up and running. And hopefully this is the last episode where we have to do a little bit of waiting since we just have 11, or I guess right now 10 workers. But once we start getting some of the bots up and running, then that's going to pretty quickly compound and allow us to not have to be playing musical jobs like I did in the last episode. And we just surpassed the 500 science mark, so let's go ahead and unlock the first bot part factory, and then we'll have the beavers work on this once they finish these last couple of buildings. And then we'll start out with the bot limbs. We'll have to make some storage over here, and it looks like we ran out of planks completely. We will have to move some jobs around. Go ahead and reduce the amount of workers that we have and then get this up and running. The beavers are very close to finishing the bot part factory. Looks like we're only missing a few planks and that should be finished today. We have a good amount of wood and this guy has plenty of power, so it'll just take a little bit longer. Should get this wrapped up pretty quickly. And since we're doing good on wood, we're going to go ahead and pause this, have the forester replant some of the trees over here. And just like that, it looks like this building is complete. We're missing a beaver, so let's figure out what job we can afford to pause. I think it'll be the forester. We'll have him plant some trees real quick and then we'll go ahead and move him over into this job. Although water looks like we're actually maxed out, and perfect timing. He just reached 15 out of 15 water. So we'll go ahead and throw him into here. And then this guy needs planks and gears. It'll take him 12 gears in order to make 4 bot limbs, which we also need to get some storage set up. We can get some sneaky storage over here. We'll have this first one set to bot limbs, and then we'll do bot heads. Because what I do intend on doing is having this second story made for the bot assemblers, and then we'll have 2 of those over here. Obviously we need to place down some more of these bot part factories, but we're just sticking with 1 for now. And I would like to lower, honestly probably this whole area, but we need to get dynamite, and in order to get dynamite we'll have to get bad water, and that takes metal blocks to make the bad water pump, and same for the explosives factory, so that is not highest on our priority right now. Looks like we do have an injured beaver. I don't I actually know how long it takes for him to get healed up. Hopefully it's pretty quickly because we need all the workers. Although this job and the smelter, those are both actually pretty dangerous for beavers, so their injury rate is, I think, fairly high. So we're going to have to just power through that, unfortunately. And then as soon as we can, we'll want to get some bots in these jobs. But all the jobs requires, well, it doesn't appear here right now, but when you can switch it to bots working in a building, it costs a lot of science, especially for these higher intensity jobs. So we'll probably move bots into some of the easier jobs for now, like probably lumberjack flags, and I think the builders, like the builder's hut and the district center. It's either free or it only costs a small amount of science to unlock it. Looks like we have enough bot limbs. We'll go ahead and switch this to bot heads for now. Although at this rate it looks like we will get all of the parts required to assemble a bot well before we get the science to unlock the bot part assembler, and also probably before we get the resources to build that. Oh, and speak of the devil, it looks like he doesn't actually have enough resources to even make the bot head. We are short on planks. You know, it's probably not worth... Yeah, he's at 0%. We'll pause this for now. Let's go ahead and focus on getting some more of the resources required. So we'll try and build up our plank stores, and then also we'll get some gears. Probably not quite yet, but once we have some more planks, we'll switch one of the bots or one of the beavers over into this gear workshop. And once again, we're running just a hair short on food. Temporarily bump a second beaver into here. And once again, we have a drought approaching. It's going to be showing up in 3 days. We are doing alright on resources, still trying to get some planks saved up. They finished constructing some of the platforms over here. The storage has been created now for the bot parts. We have all 3 of them ready to go. We're just trying to get some planks stored up before we throw a beaver back in the bot part assembler, or in the bot part factory. And with the drought incoming soon, we're going to try and focus our beavers to work in these buildings, get as much of this ready as we can before we can throw the beavers into some other jobs that don't require the power to be working. Specifically, I think getting this inventor's hut paused will be a good use of beaver power. And then let's get another beaver in here, since we have enough resources for all of this. He should be able to make 1 bot head during the next couple days. And then once he finishes that, if there's at least half a day left, then we can throw him into the... I guess it will still be in this job, but we'll just switch the recipe to be bot limbs. Since I don't know exactly if I pause this job and then unpause it if this stays right here. I guess we're at 1%. We can take a look. Looks like it's still there. If we switch the recipe, that goes to 0. Yeah, so that resets it. We will want to make sure that if we pause this on bot heads and it's halfway through, we don't change the recipe. Looks like he made it through 3/4 of a bot head, so he should finish that during the beginning part of the next day, and then we can switch it to bot limbs. Or I guess we'll probably want to switch it to bot chassis, but we won't do that quite yet. And then once we get the bot chassis constructed, we'll have all the parts we need for our first bot. We'll just need to get the science to unlock the bot assembler, and also we'll need to get another 200 science to get the charging station ready. Looks like he just finished creating the bot head. We'll go ahead and switch that to bot chassis, and that'll take another 18 hours, but we will not have enough power to power him through the whole thing. Although I guess the water wheels will keep turning even after the drought starts. So maybe if we pause these 3 other jobs, he'll get just enough power to squeeze it out. We will have to wait and see. And just like that, the drought has started. You can see the water wheels are really quickly starting to slow down. He is just over halfway through. I am not optimistic that he'll be able to make it all the way. But we did pause 3 of these jobs, and we rearranged them a little bit. We have the forester back in action planting the trees. We once again have 2 beavers working in the farmhouse. And he is getting really close to finishing this. The power is dropping pretty quickly though. And this is going to be really close. 95, 96%. Looks like he did make a single bot chassis. We'll go ahead and pause him now. We can also start unpausing these inventors' huts. Now we can focus on getting some more science. I just reduced the amount of beavers we have in the hauling post. but it looks like the one who got reduced, he is already grabbing some stuff over there. So tomorrow morning, I think he should be starting in this inventor's hut. This drought is slightly longer. It looks like it was about 5 days long. We got through the first day, no problem. And we're going to have plenty of water, honestly. Although we will have to worry about this area drying up. If it does drop a little bit more, I don't know how much it would need to drop. But we can always get a little 3x3 grid set up somewhere over here. It might make the most sense to try and place some levees over here to make the little area that we could irrigate. We'd have to get another water dump, or get our first water dump, I should say, set up over here as well. We could do it on either side. I think this side would be a little bit easier. We would just need to make sure that it's at the same level as all these crops. And just like that, the drought is over. It was pretty uneventful, not a whole lot happened. We have been ramping up our science production. We have 4 inventors right now. We're just over 400 science. We need to get to 750 in order to build the bot assembler. Once the bad water starts flowing through here and gets all the water wheels spinning up, then we can look at start turning on some of these buildings right here. We are getting pretty close in order to unlock the bot part assembler. We're just under 650 science. And at this point, once we reach that 750 science threshold, we'll actually be short on resources. I think we need 100 planks, 50 gears, and 50 metal blocks, something like that. So as you can see, we are well short. So now I have the hauling post. That's going to be prioritizing the gear workshop, the industrial lumber mill, and the smelter. Since we actually have a decent amount of scrap metal now, we don't need to have the hauling post help out with this guy, at least for now. We want to focus on getting the resources right here up and running as much as we can. It would be pretty cool to have some bots right about now. We have several jobs paused and also minimized. Only one farmer working in the farmhouse. We still have the forester pause plus this second lumberjack. Overall, we're doing alright on wood. We have plenty of trees to chop down, but the demand is not crazy high. The only things we're building right now is some extra storages, since we are getting pretty close to maxing out our metal block storage plus our gears. And then planks we're also getting up there as well. And then some miscellaneous warehouse stores for food, berries, and gears. But if we had some more workers available, we could go ahead and replant the trees, get some more inventors huts up and running, and then maybe most importantly, getting the spot part factory running again. I just went ahead and switched the worker in the gear workshop to work in the industrial lumber mill now, since we have the 50 gears that we need, and it looks like we also just passed 750 science. So let's get that bot assembler unlocked and place it right up here. And now we'll have them start working on this. We're just short on metal blocks and then a lot more on the planks. And then once it gets constructed, we'll go ahead and lower the amount of workers to 1, since we do not have the extra workers to spare. And we are out of food. Let's go ahead and pause this water pumper. We'll throw another beaver into the farmhouse, since we have a good amount of water for now. But we don't want to be running out of food, because if they're relying on berries, they're not getting the benefit of kohlrabi in terms of their well-being. But it looks like we actually are short on beavers. I think we'll want to pause the inventor's hut for now. If we can get this created before the next drought is incoming, there's a good chance we could actually get a bot. We will need to worry about him running out of power though, since we don't have a charging station unlocked yet or constructed. We will need to get some more gears, and then obviously planks and metal blocks as well. But I think that we can actually place a couple of those right over here. We'll start with one for now, or at least once we unlock it, we'll just have one placed down. We are only 2 planks away, and it looks like we actually have those planks. So this is going to be created right now. Let's reduce the amount of builders we have, and he should get to work. We have plenty of power, more than double what we need, since we have a couple buildings paused. Although 72 hours, that's a long time. Let's go ahead and reduce the amount of lumber mill employees and then bump that up to 2. Oh geez, we are so low. This guy, he's not doing anything. We'll get him out of there. 36 hours. I think we can actually finish this before the drought is coming in. It hasn't been announced yet, so we know we have all of today and then at least 3 more days. That's not good. We have a bad tide coming in. That is going to destroy everything. All this food, that's going to be removed. So let's slow things down a lot, reprioritize everything. We do not need inventors, we need farmers. We have 2 of them, but we need to get a lot of food stored up. So we'll need to turn on this builder's hut district center, and then we need to get a medium warehouse. And then we want to get this constructed and store kohlrabi in here. And then let's do the same and set that to berries. And then we need to turn on this gatherer flag. We will prioritize both of these buildings by haulers. Looks like we have 1 hauler. We have a good amount of scrap metal. I mean, it's not the best, but it's 19. So let's pause this guy for now. We don't necessarily need him working at the moment. We have enough planks as well. We'll need to get some gears set up for the charging station. Looks like we'll just need to get to 15 gears and then we'll be good. But we also want to chop down as much wood as we can, since there's a decent chance, well, if all this wood dies, then we would just end up chopping down the dead trees. So I guess we don't have to worry about chopping it down. We don't need to replant it right now either. But we do need to get some water pumped. Okay, scratch that. We don't need a gear workshop running right now. We need water, we need food, and then we need some more storage for the water. We're getting the food storage set up. Okay, as soon as the beavers finish making this bot, we're going to throw the bot into probably the lumberjack flag, and then we got to get some water pumped, since we have basically 1 day until the bad tide shows up. So we have 2 water pumpers now, and it looks like they just finished creating the bot. Go ahead and pause that. Switch this to Iron Bot for free. Now we have some beavers who don't know what to do. Let's quickly get another farmhouse set up, and then they will help gather all the food before time is up. We can unpause the gather flag once again, and then we'll get a second hauler, since I believe right now we have, yeah, one of the beavers is in the inventory set, which is not necessary. And we're going to have the beavers basically work until they can't for today. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's episode. We're going to leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger. We have the bad tide coming in 0.3 days. We don't really have a whole lot of food. Water is okay, but I'm most worried about the food. We have 4 farmers now, so they're going to be harvesting as much as they can. We should switch both of these just to harvest, since this is all going to die at the end of, or I guess at the beginning of this bad tide. But on the bright side, we did get our first iron bot. He is running a little bit low on energy, so he's going to be useless in just about 1 minute. But other than that, it was a great success for today, other than not preparing for this upcoming bad tide. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and smash that like button. I really do appreciate it. And let me know what you think is going to happen during this next bad tide. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.